Senator, our job and what we take seriously is making sure that we build industry-leading tools to find harmful content,
make money.
take it off the services,
To make money.
and to build tools that empower parents.
So you didn't take any action. You didn't take any action. You didn't fire anybody. You haven't compensated a single victim. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Well,
they're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
I'm sorry for everything that you've all been through. No one should have to go through.
Social media was meant to connect us, promote and protect free speech, and make the world a little smaller. Instead, it has turned us against each other and become a cesspool of misinformation, scams, and an echo chamber for racists and deranged billionaires. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I am digressing about social media. In the interest of time and your attention, this video is a series of videos that I will be making on the topic. This particular one is an overview of the situation, and the ones that follow will cover topics like algorithms, moderation, free speech, advertising, and more. This way, the content is digestible for all of you, and it gives me time to cover the topics in depth. As always, any claims that I make in the video will have their sources listed in the description, so please make sure to check them out. Okay? So let's get started. When I say social media, I am making a particular reference to platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Reddit, Twitter, Pinterest, and more. Collectively, these platforms host more than 5 billion people. That is more than 60% of the global population. Now, most people that use social media are considered consumers, kind of like you all watching the content I create. A small percentage are considered creators, kind of like me, who are still under 1 million followers. Then, there is an even smaller percentage that are considered influencers. These are people that have more than 1 million followers, kind of like Gordon Ramsay.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
Let's dive deeper here. We know what platforms are considered social media and we know the user numbers for each of them, but what does it actually mean when we say social media? According to the gatekeeper of the English language, the Oxford Dictionary, social media is defined as websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. Now, social networking is defined as the use of dedicated websites and applications to interact with other users or to find people with similar interests to oneself. The first part of the definition makes a lot of sense, sharing content. But that second part of the definition, the networking part, starts to lose its meaning if we look at the way social media has evolved. Social media, as we understand, was designed to make it easier to stay connected with friends and family and to share content, mostly cat pictures. And as our connections started to grow, so did these platforms. At a certain point, the platforms became large enough that connecting people was no longer the primary goal. The primary goal of modern-day social media is retention. Retention, in our case, is to keep you on the app for as long as possible. The more you consume, the more money the platform and by extension the creators make. There is also a hidden benefit to retention, and that comes in the form of control. Now imagine, if I could get you to behave a certain way by training you to respond to stimuli like Pavlov trained his dogs in his famous experiment. Social media has you trained using auditory and visual stimuli. It's difficult to resist the temptation because these notifications have conditioned you to immediately check your phone as soon as you hear the sound. And if it's not the sound, then it's the visual stimuli. And most of you have convinced yourself that you check your notifications so that the label goes away, when in fact you are doing it to get a dopamine hit. Just like Pavlov's dogs knew that ringing of the bell meant they were going to get food. 90% of the time, the notifications are generic and meaningless, but their objective is not to inform you, but to get you to come back to the app and continue doom scrolling content. And whether you admit it or not, you are going to doom scroll. Meanwhile, at social media headquarters, the quarterly report just had an uptick in user time spent on platform, and advertisers everywhere are salivating at the thought of bombarding you with a generic stream of ads based on your content consumption history. Getting you to spend as much time as possible on the app is a relentless pursuit for these companies. And I am being very direct with you when I say social media companies are spending billions of dollars to keep you on the app for as long as possible and to get you to consume as much content as humanly possible. It is one of the reasons why short videos were invented. It all started with Vine, which was bought by Twitter and then shut down, but the idea of short videos stayed. Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter all support short videos. And in my opinion, they are one of the most damaging forms of content ever created. Let me explain to you why. The problem with watching long-form videos is you consume a limited amount of content in a limited amount of time. This means that you get exposed to a limited number of ads. You also have a choice as to what kind of content you consume. You can type the name of your favorite YouTuber in the search bar, or you can search generically and get recommendations. With short-form videos, you have a variety of content you can just swipe through so your dopamine stays at peak levels. Think about it for a second. If you consume one 10-minute video in that same time frame, you can consume 10 one-minute videos, which is very fortunate for you because now you get to see more ads. What that translates to is more money for the platform and the creators. Meanwhile, your brain chemistry and structure is being altered so that your attention span is pretty much non-existent. If you don't believe me, then ask yourself why creators have started to use random videos alongside the main video. Which video are you watching? The one from the creator or the one that's playing up here? I, as a creator, have no option but to use these tiny videos to keep you engaged. I hate it, but my metrics have gone through the roof since I started. I do my best to make sure that they complement rather than take away from the video, but the fact remains that social media has really destroyed our attention spans, and this is an actually well-documented and researched fact. This is something that I'm going to cover in more detail in a future video, but for now, let's switch gears and talk more about advertising on social media. Before the Facebook, the ad model for social platforms was not as well developed and thought out as it is now. In fact, earlier social platforms like Hi5 and MySpace relied on cosmetics and Google display ads to fund their operations. But then Zuckerberg came along and convinced himself that all his users, and the planet by extension, had money sitting in their pockets that they should be spending on stuff they do not need. This was the day the Facebook ad model was born. This same ad model is used by practically every social platform in existence, except for dygres, but we'll talk more about that in the future. The ad model that is used by Facebook and other social platforms is also one of the most dangerous models to exist because this model allows anyone to advertise on the platform. With a few $100s, you can reach thousands of people and get them to visit your blog page about the Earth being a triangle, or maybe buy your dropshipping product from China. Given that Facebook has spent billions developing user behavior tracking and targeting, an advertiser can get very specific with whom they want to target. They can filter out based on gender, sexual orientation, age, political leaning, purchase history. Basically, the sky is the limit. Let me give you an example. If you are someone that consumes content from, say, Fox News, advertisers consider you right-leaning. If you're someone that consumes content from, say, Bernie Sanders, advertisers consider you left-leaning. Basically, without labeling your political preference in the back end, an advertiser can get very granular by ensuring their ads are shown to people who consume content from certain creators or publications. In fact, the system is so advanced, it creates a digital representation of you. It knows and understands everything about you. It knows what makes you happy, sad, angry, and all of this happens while you innocently consume and interact with content. And this should terrify you. A research group called Cambridge Analytica used Facebook advertising to target and collect data on people and their friends so they could build a psychological profile on voters and then manipulate their reality to change their opinions and their votes. This happened because Facebook allows third-party apps permission to see user behavior. The initial demonstration was so successful that there was an immediate $15 million investment. And within 3 months, the team at Cambridge Analytica had collected 87 million profiles. That's 25% of the American population. Many researchers have argued that if they had not been caught, they would have collected profiles of every Facebook user. That's 3+ billion people across the planet. And all of this would have been done in under a year. During inquiries, Cambridge Analytica basically argued that it did nothing wrong. It used data that Facebook shares with app developers. Now, the company no longer exists, Cambridge Analytica, but Facebook has tripled down on data collection with the introduction of Meta AI. This is their fancy chatbot that's integrated into all of their apps. Now, ask yourself, how much data do you think this AI is collecting across your Instagram DMs, WhatsApp messages, Facebook posts? And Meta AI is trained on user data, your pictures, videos, messages, without permission. Meta is going to go to make billions. Meanwhile, you're going to drool over the images produced from one of your prompts. Twitter is following the same path with the introduction of Grok AI, and that whole platform has become an echo chamber for racists, billionaires, and delusional tech bros. Sometimes they're all in one. All that is happening right now on social media is made possible through content curation, which is done by algorithms. Algorithms that you are not in control of. Algorithms that can be changed at a moment's notice. Algorithms that can be used to manipulate you. And it's not like the evidence is not there. People have been manipulated, and on a very large scale. What's to stop a large social platform from pushing an agenda that's in their favor? Or suppressing information that shows them in a negative light? Or maybe it shows the owner in a negative light. I am going to go into more detail on algorithms and all the other wonderful things on social media that are stripping away our privacy and turning us into guinea pigs, so please make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. With what has happened and has been happening, I am genuinely concerned about the erosion of personal privacy and the lack of ownership and protection of our digital assets and identity. While yes, we consume physical products, we also consume a lot of digital products. This video you are watching is a digital product. We have government IDs and driver's licenses, but we also have an online presence and fingerprint that is unique to us. It's one of the reasons why I started to work on Dygres, the social platform. It has gone through many iterations and rebuilds, but one of my goals is to deliver a platform that will hand you full control of your digital identity. Simply put, if your digital identity makes a dime, then you are getting paid. I don't know if I will ever succeed in delivering, but all I know is that someone has to do something. So instead of waiting, I decided to dive in and give it a shot. You are welcome to check out the current version, but at the moment, it's a text-only alpha that was built to familiarize myself with development cycles and tech stacks. It's come a long way from sketches on paper and still has a way to go. And I will share more details very soon on the progress I'm making, so please stay tuned. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Oh, and by the way, the channel has hit 350 subscribers, so a big thank you to everyone that has subscribed, liked, and shared my videos. That is a mouthful to say. And starting from next week, I will be publishing a weekly digression video every Friday. So please be sure to tune in. My plan is to start doing them live at some point in the future. Oh, and before I let you go, I should mention I have been playing random notification sounds throughout the video. How many times did you check your phone? See you all in the next video.